Oh yeah! Welcome back, everybody, to the Blackfire Technical Analysis YouTube channel. I am your host, Crypto Bro, and we are back at it again with another edition of the Daily Live Stream. How the hell is everybody? Already got a viewer in the house. It is Monday, another day of work down the toilet, another day of analysis to present. I'm stoked. How the hell is everybody? It is a delicious Monday afternoon, evening, whatever the fuck you want to call it, early Tuesday morning. Man, I'm a little bored. We have a little bit of reaction off the lows here for the rest of the market, but outside of that, I'm still pretty much just waiting for some kind of critical signal to be initiated here, whether it's continuation to the downside or continuation above the 21 exponential. We have plenty to dissect today, so let's go ahead and dive in. As usual, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start. That's Bitcoin. I'm stupid. We're going to start with NASDAQ, and yes, it does seem, where is my RSI? There it is. It does seem like we are reacting off of the support lows here at what, 11,100 bucks even, 11,200 bucks even, and now seeing a little bit of slow price action movement to the upside. Again, nothing definitive to tell me that we're going to see a greater scale continuation to the upside or a greater scale continuation to the downside. Obviously, you guys know my bias on the whole situation, but we'll go ahead and dive in and analyze. Looking at this one here, the RSI is still riding that diagonal trend line of peace and prosperity here for some reason, carrying some kind of positive momentum to the upside, at least from the higher low perspective. Obviously resulting in the lower low perspective for the price action itself, but I digress. Still holding that trend line here. I would suggest the signal that tells us, if we're going to break down here, would likely be a closure on lower lows here. Any opening closure below 11,200 bucks here. I would look for the RSI to turn around, reject the exponential, and breach that diagonal trend line with entry into the bearish control zone. I would at first look for the first target to the downside near 10,800 bucks to be tested, maybe even a little lower towards 10,500. I may or may not already be experiencing some technical issues. If I am, I do solely apologize. I kind of have no internet options except for the internet provider that I'm with. As much as I want to switch, I can't because MCTV has this area completely monopolized. Moving on here, yeah, if we do see an open and closure back below 11,200, I would look for, again, 10,800, and much more seriously, like the $10,450 region. But we do have a cross on the stochastics here, technically a little bit of a higher low. Yes, technically speaking, we are on a higher low status here. Again, it doesn't definitively tell me, yep, it's time to go. These are lows. The lows are in. We're going back to bullish. No, that doesn't tell me anything. All this tells me is that the downside momentum is slowing down just a bit. We could just as easily see some of this coiling action back and forth in the bearish critical territory playing, now. It could happen now for sure. But if we do see a little bit of a breach with the stochastics above the 20 read, at the same time seeing price action breach resistance at 11,800 bucks, then we have the, likely the beginning etchings of a possible reversal. Now, looking at this formation here, it is also very possible that we are going a little bit sideways. We've already seen evidence of that presented on the chart. Wouldn't be out of the question to see price action continuing to go sideways for the time being. Right now, I am looking at these two horizontal support and resistances as the major continuation conditions. Any open and closure, again, below 11,200, I'm going to look for continuation down. Any open and closure above 11,008, I would look for a breach of the 21 exponential, as I would be looking for like 12,005, maybe 12,550 to be the tentative target to the upside, again, if that condition has been met. But again, coming back, oops, I always do that. Every fucking stream, I do that. Coming back to the RSI here and looking at it, we are still below the exponential, which is still slightly negative. Not saying that it couldn't cross, but I'm also not saying that it couldn't reject the exponential as well. So the next few days, in my opinion, are crucial to the future of this price action chart here, and we'll correlate that with the U.S. dollar index here momentarily. Moving on to SPY futures, same thing. Nice reaction off the lows, a boring reaction off the lows. Again, we have a couple of green days, and some people are like frantic. Oh, this is it. Back to bullish. Nah, motherfuckers, come on, come on. Read a chart. Look at the pressure. Look at who is in control of the market at the current moment in time. It's still the bears. Looking at this one is no different than looking at NASDAQ here. Again, reacting off the 36.75 lows here. The current support wouldn't be out of the question to see price action pump towards a topside resistance at 3,800 bucks even. And again, these two horizontal support and resistance levels here will dictate my bias on a continuation drive, either to the upside or to the downside, depending on which one is broken first. Any open and closure above 3,800 bucks even, I would look for a push towards the 21 exponential first, as we do have a historically relevant resistance point at this region at 3,900 bucks even, but it wouldn't be out of the question either to see price action pop up to the same blue box territory right around 4,100 bucks, test that region here, or we can see an open and closure below 36.75 here and look for the next possible target to the downside, which is right around 3,500 bucks, 3,510, 3,505, and then we're gonna have to start opening up options to even lower here. Again, we are prospectively in a bearish market here. Again, significantly lower highs, significantly lower lows, driving this market to the downside. And until I see a confident change of behavior, I'm going to be looking for continuation in one direction, down. And that is on the long term, ladies and gentlemen. Stochastics looks again very similar, although this one is confirming lower lows. We do see a soft cross above the exponential at the current moment in time, suggesting that the downside momentum has lost a little bit of steam here, while RSI still remains below the negatively sloped exponential here and is looking rather weak, escaping the bearish control zone. So again, it's one of those like one way or the other, right? There's no gray area, at least from my perspective, for this at the current moment in time, until proven otherwise. Again, I'm looking at these, this horizontal resistance, boom, right here at 3,800 bucks even, and this support here at 36.80. The one that breaks is the one that tells me which way a trade is likely to move. But again, I don't have to state the obvious here. We are below the 21 exponential on all accounts. The 21 exponential has not lost any steam just yet. So, I'm looking, for now, my bias is, we're likely to see a little bit of a relief. This has been a huge move to the downside. A little bit of a relief to the upside would not be out of the question. We've already seen that happen before, and then boom, lower high, continuation to lower lows. So until proven otherwise, it wouldn't be out of the question to see price action pump to the upside a little bit. Maybe see a strong, momentous reaction from oscillators, especially stochastics, and not see much from price action perspective, but until proven otherwise, again, until I see higher highs above the last major lower high at 41.75, I am long-term bearish until proven otherwise. And that being said, let's go ahead and check out the US dollar index here. I am going to be keeping this stream a little bit on the shorter side. Just because I have a guest over at the current moment in time. Looking at this one, still above the 21, no higher low call. This looks a little weak, to be quite honest with you. We saw it bounce off the 21 exponential last week, boom, right at 103 spot 668, maybe 69, and then boom, hits resistance and gets rejected at 104 spot 80 here, and now we're seeing a little bit of continuation below that region. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be the death of this this bullish momentum to the upside. Hell, we didn't even get a low call here. At first glance, it looked like this region here could have been the low, but we did not confirm that low. We're actually just rejected resistance and saw slight continuation to the downside. Not only that, but we are looking at confirming below the red 10 simple. It's not that critical of a signal in my opinion, but it would suggest, another test lower at 103 spot 68, just at the 21 exponential. I would be looking for another test towards that region until I see an open and closure back above 104 spot 73. Now, I'm pretty sure we've seen something like this before. I just can't remember when that time was. Oh man, it's been a while since we saw any kind of wonky lows. No, I can't remember what it was, but I know I saw something just like this in the past, where we got faked out confirmed no low. Saw a little continuation trickle to the downside, and then it gets bought way back up. I've seen that play out before. Same kind of thing here. Looking at two critical, historically relevant support and resistance levels here. Any open and closure above 104.75, I will look for the highs to be tested once again, right around 105.68. But any open and closure below the support at 103.68 would confirm a breach of the 21 exponential, at which point I would be looking for a continuation drive towards the next level down at 102.53. Now, coming into context of this move here, this is playing off of a big bearish divergence play with the RSI. Again, we do have bearish divergence that has played out here from this point to this point, being higher highs, and this point, I gotta highlight it, this point marking the first higher high, and then this point marking the next higher high, but as a lower high on the RSI. Classical bearish divergence, and we saw that play out. Now we see the exponential rejecting the RSI, possibly looking to put in a little bit of a low or a lower high. Again, it wouldn't suggest decimation of the entire uptrend structure here. Again, we do have a very well-defined uptrend structure here for the US dollar index. And until we defeat that uptrend structure with any open and closure below 101.30, I am still macro bullish. Doesn't mean to say that it wouldn't be entirely out of the question to see a breach of the 21 exponential and price action to fall down to this region here at 102.35, confirm some kind of higher low there, and then see continuation to the upside. With this last little move here, we did confirm a higher low. And then put in, this higher high here, but we can see that this low here that was confirmed on the 3rd of May turned out to be an inconsequential low. This was not confirmed as a structural higher low, just a continuation higher low. And we see this price action here closed on a change of behavior and still confirmed macro structural higher lows. So it wouldn't be out of the question again to see a little bit of an inconsequential low anywhere at the 21 exponential or lower, maybe at 102.45 before seeing this one continue on. But again, that is until proven otherwise. And the only proof otherwise at this point would be to take out the current higher low structure at 101.30. Any open and closure below that, I would signify a change of behavior, and I would look for a much bigger pullback to the diagonal trend line of peace and prosperity. We already see stochastics here, boom, very, very significant cross, escaping the bullish critical territory and looking like it wants to escape the bottom side of the bullish control zone as well. We see that this is true momentum to the downside, but price action is still holding the 21. Same thing with RSI. We saw that bearish divergence play, boom, plummet through the exponential here. Exponential is starting to slope a little bit more negative at the current moment in time. For a while there, it was a little sideways, but now we're starting to see that momentum catch up just a little bit. And I would suggest a continuation drive if we do see the 21 exponential breach. And until then, I'm bullish at the end of the day. Gonna go check out a couple of the blue chips that I like to trade. The one that I'm paying attention to the absolute most here, AMD, boom. Actually confirming lower lows again today. Slightly, but lower lows confirmed indeed. The target has been met to the downside. So again, same thing like NASDAQ. Wouldn't be out of the question to see this one react off support and bounce up towards 85.32. We do see decimation of momentum. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Decimation of momentum oscillators here with the RSI, again, confirming a lower high, rejecting the exponential and confirming lower lows at the same time. Pressure is on to the downside, and stochastics with a confirmation drive into the bearish critical territory. Again, bearish implications implied. So again, until I see something definitive that says, yep, this is going to be a reversal, I'm going to look for either sideways price action with a possibility to see price action pump to the upside, or I'm just going to be looking for straight continuation to the downside. Any open closure below 79.70, I would look for the next target to be met at 73.50. However, on the flip side, any open and closure above 85.30, I would look for a drive towards the 21 exponential. And don't get it twisted, if we do close on higher highs above this high here, which is technically a high at 89.35, that will not convince me of a legitimate change of behavior. The only thing at this point that would convince me, again, of that change of behavior would be confirming much higher highs than the last structural lower high at 108.64. And until then, I'm looking for pressure to the downside. Moving on, I want to check out Apple real quick. Same thing, ladies and gentlemen, hitting lower lows on Friday and then boom, hitting support today. Again, nothing here is telling me, yeah, this is absolutely going to reverse. Nothing on this chart is telling me, yep, definitely, we're going to the moon. We're hitting the moon, ladies and gentlemen. No, what it's actually telling me is, hey, maybe price action might slow down for a little bit, maybe go, sideways, but until I see a breach in either direction, I'm kind of like on neutral ground right now. Obviously, a little more bearishly biased, but at the same time, it's like, one green day, yep, we're bullish, boys! No, that's not the case. Same thing for this one. RSI chopping around the top side of the bearish control zone. Not a good look here. Still below a very negative exponential here after just confirming a inconsequential lower high. Same thing on this chart. Even if we do see a breach of resistance at 136, we'll just call it 137. I have a feeling people are going to scream to me, oh, Brian, it's a change of behavior. It's fucking not a change of behavior. This is an inconsequential lower high. This has nothing to do with the structure. Same thing, top side of this blue box territory at 150.50. Until we see open and closures above that, I'm going to be looking for price action to continue much further to the downside. Still wouldn't be out of the question to see a pop up to the yellow 21 exponential, and even more so, a possible pump up to 146.30 at the bottom side of that blue box territory. But until we see confirmation above that region, I'm going to be looking for rejections along the way. We see stochastics here again, confirmation into the bearish critical territory, confirming much lower lows. Lowest this one's been for a hot minute, man, since freaking 2019, summer 2019, I think. Yeah, May and June of 2019. So, again, a lot of bearish implications on these price action charts here until proven otherwise. I am biased to the downside. Any open and closure below 130 even, I will be looking for continuation towards the next target at 123.35. And on the flip side, any open and closure above 137, I would look for a test of the 21 exponential, and that's brass tacks, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on, I think I'm going to skip over a bunch of these and head on to Bitcoin here. Mr. Bitcoin, same thing, reacting off the lower lows here with a little push to the upside, already looking like it's losing, steam, right? We see stochastics here looking like it's already losing its way here. No bullish momentum present at all whatsoever. Deep in the bearish critical territory off of lower lows at the same time, and RSI is being predominantly controlled by the bearish control zone here. It wouldn't be out of the question to see a possible soft cross above the exponential, but if we see closures back below 19,750, that likely gets negated, and I would be looking for the current lows, the current wick lows, to be tested once again right around 17,900 bucks, and possibly much further down towards 16,350. However, we did just see confirmation of support on this region, so it wouldn't be entirely out of the question to see a move back up towards 22,660. And maybe even a pump all the way towards the 21 exponential here at 24,380. However, same thing as the rest of the market here. I'm going to be very, very, very skeptical until I see actual evidence of a change of behavior with bullish implications presented on all aspects of the chart. Until then, I have my rejection goggles on. Ladies and gentlemen, I have my rejection goggles on. So that's kind of how I'm looking and viewing the market today, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to wrap it up for the stream. Short, sweet, and to the point. It is 1 a.m. Tomorrow's stream should be a little longer. I don't have anything to do tomorrow, so yeah, that's gonna do it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming through. Thanks for stopping by. If you're new to the channel, you like what you see, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tick that little bell, and I will see you guys same time tomorrow, actually earlier tomorrow, back at it with a much bigger update. Hopefully something exciting happens until then, but that'll do it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming through. Until next time.